A few months ago, I started making some videos talking about how exclusivity from the third party side was bad for players and also bad for the developers. In fact, the business model is starting to prove, especially in the case of Square Enix, as to be one that is not sustainable. Even so, that Square Enix themselves, having declared that their Final Fantasy 16 game and Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth games did not meet profit expectations, they packed their load, changed their policy, and said that they're doubling down on bringing more games to the Xbox platform. What's crazy is they've now started to showcase this, and they truly do mean it. What this does is that it actually goes against a lot of the perceptions, false these perceptions were in the first place, that Xbox players don't buy games. Because now, for some strange reason, Square Enix is like, it appears that they actually do, and we need them to. Because the PlayStation that has basically captured a lot of our games exclusive are also taking their games to the PC platform, and in some weird cases, competing with us, like in the case of Final Fantasy 16 and God of War Ragnarok. So what's really crazy here is them moving to the Xbox platform also goes ahead to demolish that particular argument of Xbox players don't buy games, simply because a lot of the PlayStation fans who made these claims forgot that somewhere, somehow, PlayStation money had at these Final Fantasy games, so that these Xbox players who they claim don't buy games would actually come to PlayStation to buy the game. We must hold ourselves to a standard of consistency when we make these arguments in the gaming scene. I'm not here to actually, fanboy for your favorite box. As much as I'm a PlayStation player, I'm not going to sit here and kowtow to some corpo that doesn't care, that basically feels like if they destroy the competition, they're going to be able to hold the hegemony, and they want to sell you a $1,000. Oh, wait, they're already selling you a $1,000 skinned wrap of a Pro console that pretty much does anything. I know it's a Pro console. Thank you very much for reminding me it's a collectible item. Yeah, right. Now, let's look into something that has actually come up in a more recent time. Apparently, another video game itself has now found itself in a similar position as Square Enix. The developers of that game want to take it to Xbox, or I guess they're bringing it to Xbox. It's the game Predator Hunting Grounds. This game was published by PlayStation, and a few months ago, the developer, Euphonic, were able to, go ahead and, acquire their publishing rights of the game from Sony. Apparently, this was actually very interesting, and it was done maybe on a hush-hush, or because the game is no longer popular, nobody heard about it. In fact, even I wrongly presumed that PlayStation was still the publisher of this game, because even on Steam, the game was still appearing under PlayStation's published games. You guys have seen that list that I show you guys very much. I show you all the time, showing you all of PlayStation games that are on PC. I have a video, I think one of my more recent videos, where I said that PlayStation was actually copying Xbox and taking its games to PC. I showed you guys that list, and on that list, the game still appears under PlayStation's games, and that video was made about a month ago. So it was easy to misconstrue things because the details were not necessarily out there. However, what we're seeing with this reality is, if these developers are wanting to go to Xbox, what is their motivation to doing so? Well, obviously, they're a live service game, and they want to actually go there to make more money. Money that they're probably not able to see anymore, having been stuck on the PS4 platform and even on PC, especially with the heavy competition that exists on PC. And now it seems like, for some strange reason, a lot of people know that Xbox has a platform that really does support a lot of live service games. And I think this is what these developers want to take advantage of. So it brings us back to this whole conversation of money hatting from the PlayStation side in terms of their exclusivity just does not seem to be working out. To be very honest, I wish people would come out and actually admit this particular truth and reality that we're seeing. But instead, they're going to sit there and they're going to dance around the subject, just because we have some outliers like Stellar Blade, which we're not necessarily certain how that studio is going to continue. But I mean, I guess we know that they have a publisher that would, print money and that will mint money and give it to them. But still, their game sales, which could have been much better than 1 million copies or whatever it sold if it were on PC, have now been stunted by PlayStation. What's even wild, ladies and gentlemen, is a hack and slash like Stellar Blade is actually sitting locked down on the PlayStation platform, while PlayStation's own hack and slash is going to PC to go farm more money. What a mess. PlayStation is saying to these second and third party developers, do as we say, not as we do. They're paying them money to lock their games to their platforms while they themselves don't even have that much of the confidence that they need, that they have to go to the PC platform. So again, I think the maybe the gullibility or the risk aversion of these developers are making them take these deals with a lot of short-sightedness, and most of them don't realize that if they stay that path, they're going to end up like Square Enix. But I think at the end of the day, a lot of these developers are going to wake up. They're going to see that this is a bereft business model and they need to basically change course. On the place of PlayStation, nonetheless, I strongly believe that this has also affected PlayStation gamers. And for most PlayStation gamers, they won't admit it, but they got to see games like Concord. They're going to see a game like Fair Games coming pretty soon. All this while, instead of PlayStation to have invested in small titles like Spider-Man Miles Morales, which they did, I give them kudos for that. I bought a copy of that on PlayStation, bought a PC copy because I like to double dip. And even games like Ghost of Yotei, which is basically right now controversial, but seems like a smaller package pulled from the Ghost universe. These would have been games that they could have basically taken into development by using those funds and pretty much supporting their studios. However, they're all over the place giving money to everybody else other than their studios. They're all over the place paying for other people's games other than the games that PlayStation players want to play. And somehow this is acceptable, or this is allowed within the PlayStation conversation because, yes, according to a lot of fans 10 years ago, PlayStation did this, and this. I think the goodwill that PlayStation has for some, people needs to basically run out, because if you let this company run amok, they're literally going to ignore their own player base. In fact, they already are ignoring their player base. I mean, where's that Bloodborne remaster? Where's that Bloodborne 60 FPS patch? All of the little things that their own audiences are asking for that they could have easily done compared to, say, their competitor Xbox, which in their case, they would have done a 60 FPS patch because we know that the Series X, or that kind of hardware like the PS5 can actually play Bloodborne at about 60 FPS. I mean, think about it. Xbox unlocked one of the Dark Souls games and put it at 60 FPS for free, whereas somehow PlayStation is finding it hard to even give something so minimal as a 60 FPS patch for a game like Bloodborne. It's shameful. It's shameful. It must be talked about and it must be pointed out. Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching the video. Appreciate you guys' time and audience. Thankfully, the death of exclusivity continues to, draw nearer and nearer, and we're probably going to stop seeing that very soon as the market takes a very interesting turn. Appreciate you guys so much, and like I said, hit me up in the comment section. Peace out.